Two-dimensional and three-dimensional objects. A cross-section of a solid is an intersection of a plane, which is two-dimensional, and a solid, which is three-dimensional. Cross-sections are two-dimensional shapes. So let's look at a cube. Here, with the assistance from one of the applications from Core Math Tools, which can be found on, you can definitely Google Core Math Tools and it'll find it, but it's a free Java application on the nctm.org website. So here, if we take a look at this cube, and the buttons up here, we can play around with them to see what happens. So here, if this takes a cut out of this cube, we can see that the cross section that it's making here is a square. And then we can tilt the angle and see other shapes. Let's see if we can get something to look a little different. Here is a trapezoid. We're making, or it's almost a trapezoid. If this was extended a little better. There we go. Here's a trapezoid. And let's see if we can get a triangle out of this. There we go. So just to see what I'm looking at. Here's a triangle as a cross section. So when you take a slice out of a three-dimensional figure, you have this two-dimensional figure. So this big blue, I guess, square is representing a plane, and then it's crossing this cube, and we're getting our shapes. So you can see how you can have multiple shapes that come out. There's another triangle. You can get a rectangle, trapezoid. Alright, so let's look at a square pyramid, square right pyramid, and back that up so we can look at this whole shape. So here we have this shape, rotate it around, and if I take a cross section, here we have a triangle that has been made. And we can continue to kind of look at how that's, we take it off the top, so just so you can get another idea of what I'm looking at. Here we've cut off the top of the pyramid. There's a trapezoid for our cross section. And then, see if I can get this right on top of it. There we go. We have a square. So this is cutting off the top perfectly, almost perfectly. So if it was, it would be a perfect square. So these are just different cross sections. This tool also has other shapes, so we can look at different solids. Pick a fun one. And there's a lot of neat applications, and this is a free Java application. You can see and tilt and make all kinds of different shapes here. Alright, so now let's look at what happens when we rotate a two-dimensional figure. So this application you can also get from Core Math Tools, or this is actually for CPMP Tools. So it's another free Java application. And what we'll do is I'll select, or I'll draw a shape. I'll start with a rectangular shape here. And this is already kind of starting to rotate it, so we can get a good look at what I'm doing. If I make a rectangle, rectangle's a little crooked. Alright, we make a rectangle, and then this lets us rotate it around. So now that it's been rotated around 360 degrees, you can see we have a cylinder. Right, we could also rotate this around the horizontal axis. So if you, to undo what that looks like, Here's our rectangle, and we're just going in a different direction with the rotation. So it's still a cylinder, it's just kind of a squished cylinder. It looks more like a wheel. Alright, let's do a different shape. Let's look at a triangle. So if I draw a triangle here, doesn't like for me to draw that last point right back on it. I think it's because it rotates around the one point. So have my triangle, and then as we rotate it, well, let me rotate it the other direction first. We rotate it around, you can see that we have a cone. Okay, and then if we were to rotate it, get it upright, rotate it the other way, so back to its original shape we're looking at, and we have a different cone. Alright, so you can see how these two-dimensional figures can just be rotated around the axis to make a three-dimensional figure. And so I didn't talk too much about what's happening with our third dimension. So here, because we are no longer on paper, we have a third dimension, we have a z-axis. So we have coordinates that are x, y, z instead of just x, y. Okay, so now it's time to pause the video and complete the independent practice. When you're done with the independent practice, press play to check your answers. Alright, so let's look at the answers to the independent practice. For number 1, list two different two-dimensional shapes that could be created from a cross-section of a triangular pyramid. So it would be a triangle and a rectangle. A triangle if you slice it this way, a rectangle if you slice it so you have this side. Next is a cylinder, and you can get a circle, cut it in half this way, or a rectangle if you cut it in half this way. And to get a circle, of course, you'd have to cut it, at a right angle. Alright, two-dimensional shape for this one. That's a trapezoid. And this one is a parallelogram. So again, just to reiterate, for the tools that I was using, Core Math Tools has all of them. So if you'll just Google Core Math Tools, or you can go to nctm.org and search their website, because they are the ones who sponsor that the Core Math Tools. Alright, thanks. Have a great day.